Rap albums with no skips part 3. Throwing a little something out there for my positivity lovers this time. I'm not gonna make this intro super long because I just want to talk about these albums, but keep in mind, for an album to have no skips, it doesn't need to be flawless or perfection in my opinion. It just means everything is consistently good enough with no glaring weak points. But with that being said, a couple of these are perfection, and 3 of these 4 albums I've only heard very recently. So let's get started with the first of those recent listens for me, one that I know for certain is gonna inspire those "damn, how have you not heard this until now" comments. Let's get into it.
Look like a black Wookiee when he let his beard grow weirdo. Brown skin, it always kept his hair low.
This was an album I heard for the very first time right at the end of 2023, and yep, I definitely see what all the hype is about. Before we even fully dive into it, I know what some people might say here. Oh, but CDTV, what about that 4-song stretch in the middle of the album where Doom doesn't even rap, and it's just sampled clips from cartoons and what sounds like TV advertisements playing over beats? Yeah, those aren't skips for me. The reason why it works is because you can absolutely still feel Doom's presence on those tracks. He doesn't rap on them, but he did produce the beats, and just from the sample choices, you can feel the craft that he put into these tracks. And I think trying to read in between the lines of the dialogue that Doom samples makes these tracks very interesting in their own right, like they still have meaning. Not to mention, hearing Poop Up Platter after hearing World Domination by Joey Badass first, it was really cool for me to see where that beat came from. I had no clue it was from this album before.
What is it, Father?
These footprints were made by the Flying Monkey Men.
But they've never strayed from the valley.
The rest of the music is just perfection, really. The production and rapping on songs like One Beer, Deep Fried Friends, Con Carne, Con Queso, Vomit Spit, it's all just absolutely top tier.
If you say so, lace the whole caseload. They say wear a metal mask in case his face show. You told them they float, spits talking, ayo. Never let your so-called mans know your plans. A show of hands.
Doom's lyricism is so enigmatic and unique, and it really provides for a bunch of quotables here that I just randomly rap to myself all the time. Like, this album has really stuck with me. I don't know why, but the way that he says, "In love with Mary Jane, she's my main thing, pulled her right from that webhead, what a lame brain," is just fucking addictive to repeat. The word placement, the rhyme scheme, the vivid imagery, while also being a diss to Spider-Man. Who else can do that, man?
Schedule my noon with Brit Hume. In love with Mary Jane, she's my main thing. Pulled her right from that webhead, what a lame brain.
This man even managed to make a song on this album that is essentially about beating his meat go hard.
A metal handful, wiping on the quilt. Wife wake up and I'm killed over spilt milk. Locked in, looking at your picture.
Even a song like Guinness's, where again, Doom doesn't rap, sounds great because Angelica and Four Eyes sound good, and it just feels like they fit in where they are. It's a testament to Doom that his presence is felt all across this album, even when vocally he isn't there. His sound just has such a unique fingerprint. And if we're talking about the features here, the best moment in terms of that is probably the iconic rap snitch Knishes with Mr. Fantastic and his ever-relevant chorus.
Rap snitches, telling all their business, sit in the court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here.
I gave this album a 9.7 out of 10 on Album of the Year, but I am strongly considering bumping it up to a 10 because of how uniquely brilliant it is. Also, this isn't relevant as to why it has no skips, but I literally just noticed that the reason why there is only 2 periods in the sort of ellipsis in the album title is because it's a rearrangement of MF Doom, which also only has 2 periods in it. The album cover is S tier as well. It's an absolute classic, and one that I'm honestly kind of happy that I didn't experience earlier because I got to feel the magic of this project super recently, and I really appreciate that. Shout out to Joseph Berger for sending me this album on one of my paid request live streams. You fast-tracked my very delayed discovery of this album.
You know, everybody sings, I apologize. Why you gotta act, gotta dramatize. I prefer to be alone, that's a lot of times. Can't control when I'm lonely, I gotta hide.
Now, I've got beef with this album. I uploaded my 5 best and worst rap albums of 2023 video on January 26th, 2024. I heard this album for the first time on my paid request livestream sent in by my viewer The Archive on January 29th. 2024. This absolutely would have made the 5 best albums of 2023 list if I'd heard it first. I don't think I'd heard much at all from Group Therapy before, but just the general idea of the group is really cool. They're a trio made up of 3 former child actors, Jada Grace, Swim, and TJ Online, who formed after being burnt out by the entertainment industry. As the group name suggests, music is pretty much their therapy. And my god, is this debut studio album good. I don't want to linger on this comparison too much because I'm sure it is one they get quite often, but if you do like Brockhampton, it's 100% worth giving Group Therapy a shot. Songs like American Psycho and That's My Check do remind me a bit of their music, but it's fresh enough to feel unique to Group Therapy.
Trying to challenge me, women violate me cause I dabble in the faggotry. Niggas violate me cause I'm happy, shit's a tragedy. That's my chick. Brother, that's my chick. That's my chick.
Everyone in the trio is amazing, but I have to say, Jada Grace is the member that blows my mind the most right now with how good she is. Her versatility is showcased so well on this album, and she always nails it with her vocals. It's pretty incredible.
I'm a lot to ingest, corset vest, waist on, small, hips on, chest on, I'm so, we've pulled good times out of bad nights so many times, I promise, if I make it, I'ma help you.
Don't get me wrong though, TJ Online and Swim are very good too. TJ's highlights for me throughout the album are his production, his kind of casual off-kilter verse on Nasty, his intense verse on American Psycho, and pretty much any track where he decides to sing a little bit.
How you let your nigga buy your ass a Coach bag? Guess he got his C's confused, I'm so sad. Steady talking about your spouse, how they so bad. By the way, I'm still in love with you.
And then Swim has some standout verses with his clean-ass flow and slick lyricism. I really enjoy his poetic verse on Still Alive, his smoothly auto-tuned verse on That's My Check, and the way he glides over the Jersey Club drums on Peak.
If you want the truth, I gave her the deuce. She bad as she boring. I'm totally tapped, tagging the ops, don't need an app. My demons, they are very alive. They just vary in size, from barely my height to there in the sky. I wear a disguise, aware of my pride.
It's always amazing to hear an album that connects with you this much on a first listen, man. In short, it's just a consistently great album with amazing performances and a big enough variety of sounds throughout to always keep things interesting. It was one of those ones that first listen, I just had no idea what the next track was gonna do because everything really stands on its own. I have my favorite track, but there definitely isn't a single skip on the album if you ask me. It's actually the album that inspired me to put this video together. Once again, shout out to The Archive for sending me this one.
Still caught up in all the gun shit. Still calling my bullets expendables cause it's hard to believe I can fit all of them boys in one clip.
DJ Premier producing on every single song. Royce the 5'9" in top lyrical form on each and every track. Yep. That's a winning combination right there. I've talked a little bit about how perfect this album is before, but this video is the perfect opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into it. To me, it's a great example of how to make a lyrical rap album extremely fun and entertaining while still being impressive. There are so many bars from Royce here that make me laugh, whether it's because they're clever or just humorous in nature.
Only time a woman made a man a millionaire was when that man was a former billionaire. How trill is that? Get live rounds from guns at a gigantic, cause you wouldn't bow down like the front of the Titanic. I bought my bitch a ass and wrote it off on my taxes. Listed it as some independent backing like Macklemore. If you an artist, death's near, the fans know what you draw falls on deaf ears like Van Gogh. Rappers will be acting ill, knowing they daffodils. I take the word lyrical and flip it backwards, and that's his like a real.
And the features as well. It just really encapsulates this era of lyrical rap while also having some legends on there too. Ab-Soul, Mac Miller, Schoolboy Q, Killer Mike, Common, Royce's Slaughterhouse Group. If you listen to the deluxe, MF Doom, Joey Badass, Black Thought, Logic when he was at his peak, like it is stacked.
All the smoke that I inhale, I'm supposed to be high as hell. But that's a twisted figure of speech, hell is below you. I'm guaranteed heaven before I'm beneath the soil.
An underground king sipping my lean. You know I double my profit because I triple my bean.
It's not a particularly content-heavy album, but it doesn't need to be. The whole point of the album is just to showcase how cleverly everyone on it can write, how slick they are with words, and it absolutely hits. This album proves that you can in fact rap about how good you are at rapping and make it sound compelling. It's all about how you pull it off. And like I said, the DJ Premier production is fantastic on every song. Bro went hard with his Adrian Young samples on this album.
I'm looking for a place we can go. Freedom of jail, clips inserted, the babies being born, same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end.
Adrian essentially co-produced the album by being sampled on every single track, but I'm not saying that as a criticism because it all turns out very good and DJ Premier repurposes the samples well. And Adrian directly approved all of this and said that it helped him to appreciate his own music in a new kind of way, which is really cool. It's so consistent, there definitely isn't a single skip on this album. It's one where I'm actually a little bit scared to listen to the sequel because it has a lot to live up to, but I'll definitely need to give it a shot sometime soon.
Straight up shit is real and any day could be your last in the jungle. Get murdered on the humble, guns of blast, niggas tumble.
Illmatic has the perfect formula to avoid having any skips. Just 10 songs with excellent boom bap production and some of the best written rap verses that you will ever hear, pretty evenly spread throughout the track list. I remember back a lot of years ago, and this was a lot of years ago, okay, so don't judge me for this one. I used to think that 90s rap was good, but a little bit more simplistic in terms of its rhyme schemes and technicality. And sure, plenty of it was, but Illmatic alone kinda proves that stance wrong. Stuff like NY State of Mind and Life's a Bitch is still very technically impressive to this day, with incredible rhyme schemes and super clear storytelling. They're impressively written, but clear enough to instantly paint a picture in your head of what is being described.
My arm shook, couldn't look, gave another squeeze, heard it click, yo my shit is stuck, tried to cock it, it wouldn't shoot, now I'm in danger. I woke up early on my born day, I'm 20 is a blessing, the essence of adolescence leaves my body now fresh.
One Love is another one that I've got to mention when it comes to excellent writing, with the first two verses being Nas rapping letters that he's wrote for his locked up friends, and the last verse tying it all together with Nas trying to discourage a kid from making mistakes that could lead to his own incarceration.
Words of wisdom from Nas, try to rise up above, keep an eye out for Jake, shorty, walk one love.
The fact that Nas likely wasn't even 20 when he wrote this and was able to so perfectly put his observations into words is insane. And as for the beats, if you want to appreciate this album just a little bit more, watch one of those sample breakdown videos for the songs on this album. You can see how beautifully constructed these instrumentals are, borrowing and reworking small elements from multiple other songs.
The corners is the hot spot full of mad criminals who don't care. Guzzling beers, we all stare at the out of towners.
Pretty much every beat is great, but specifically DJ Premier and Large Professor just knock it out of the park with their multiple production credits, and Pete Rock killed it with his beat on The World Is Yours.
I rap for listeners, blunt heads, fly ladies and prisoners, Hennessy holders and old school niggas, then I'll be dissing her. The whole of mic I'm throbbing, mechanical movement, understandable smooth shit that murderers
smooth with the thief's theme.
Illmatic is such a revered album for a reason. It is out and out hip hop in its purest form. Inspired boom bap production, lyricism that was pretty much ahead of its time, and the hunger that can only come with an artist that is determined to make sure that they kick off their legacy in just the right way. The best way that I can sum up my thoughts on it is one of my only 10s on Album of the Year, because it is one of the best rap albums of the 90s and ever. And on that note, those are 4 more of my personal no-skip rap albums, with 3 of them being ones that I listened to for the first time within the past year. If you haven't heard any of them, give them a shot and see if you enjoy them as much. With that being said, drop your own no-skip albums down in the comments below, and you can click on the screen right here to check out the previous edition of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and much love to my Patreon supporters and channel members over here, with a special shout out to I Am Regent, KWG13270, Lucas1123, and Not Vimpen.